You might think being smart is an advantage. But smart people often find themselves struggling to gain views on the platform. And that is because the platform works against their natural tendencies. But when you know what it is, you can actually make it work for you. Let me explain. So, the single most important point also for myself was they might mistake understanding for communication. So they might have an internal model of an issue which they developed over many months or years of life experience, and then they assume that they are also good able to communicate that model to the viewers. But that's not the case. We are not telepathic yet. So understanding something yourself is not the same as communicating it. So smart people often start explaining at step 3 because they think step 1 and 2 are trivial. But do yourself a favor and give yourself some time to set the scene and explain also the steps which led up to your conclusion for everybody to follow. They tend to value accuracy a lot, but the platform actually rewards confidence more. Confidence and delivery. So you might find it very important that you communicate accurately what you have come to understand. But it's much more important to work on your delivery, how you package things. It doesn't matter so much what you say as long as it sounds good. This might be painful, but it will provide you with a lot better results. This ties into the next point, which is you might be too honest. When you're smart, you sometimes say that you don't know when you don't know, but that's often not helpful because it undermines your perceived confidence. It makes you sound less confident than you actually are. For you, it might not be a problem if you don't know, but the other people might think that it is a problem. So this could be an issue if you're doing that. This is something I have struggled a lot with. I myself have always tried to come up with new information, with new knowledge on the spot. So I'm trying to draw conclusions, I'm trying to draw inferences, I'm trying to get new perspectives while I'm already recording the video. But why? Because I'm assuming the knowledge I already have, everybody else also already has, so I'm not repeating it because it's boring. But the issue with that is that it's extremely hard to do that on the spot without taking a lot of time to think. And when you take your time to think, we have the same issues as before. You are perceived less confident, you lose engagement because for obvious reasons, and this is bad. So don't try to come up with new insights on the spot. Instead, do make it easy for yourself and say what you already know, even though it might be boring for you to tell it again. All right. The next issue is you might have very high standards because you notice a lot of small details. You might notice a lot of flaws in your own delivery, in your own speech, in your own approach, in your thumbnails, in your titles, and you try to improve it. But this is not necessary. This can actually hold you back because, again, it's more important to work on your confidence and on your delivery than it is to be accurate or precise or correct. It's much more important to be confident than it is to be correct. And that's the issue that smart people might have because they value truth and arriving at the truth of the matter, but this is not what people want to consume actually. You might underestimate how much you actually know, because what to you is obvious and trivial for another person might be revelatory. So never underestimate how much you know. Always assume that your point of view is valid and has a lot of value. So really make it a habit to also communicate what seems trivial to you, because it might help another person a lot, more than you think. They prioritize correctness over usefulness, relatability. So, as I already said, it's much more important to be confident. For example, even though you might repeat yourself, if you have a confident delivery, nobody is going to notice, and it's not an issue. But if you're smart, as I already said, you might notice every small mistake you make and everything could become a problem. But this is something that you have to train in order to overcome. Just be confident. Another thing is they anticipate objections, they scrutinize their own statements in real time. So when they make a statement, for example, saying that repetition is bad, let's take that for example, they immediately think what the objections may be. Some people might say, but repetition helps to drive the point home. Another person might say, repetition, delivery is more important than what you actually say. So these internal objections run through their head constantly, which is good if you want to be accurate and go and understand something really thoroughly, but it's really bad if you want to deliver a confident speech, because if you start taking your time to think and second guess, you already are perceived less confident. Even though for you it might not be a problem, other people will see you that way and then they lose interest. So, to summarize, the most important point learning for me was that my internal model is not the same as communicating it effectively. So work on your delivery, work on your confidence, don't second guess yourself constantly. These are the most applicable points I can give you right now.